order is here. Every word, every step, every thought, watched, scanned, controlled.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise to get to the heart of what's important. Today we're taking a deep dive into a document that, well, despite its widely disputed origins, has had an undeniable and often chilling impact on history. It continues to fuel debate, shape perceptions.
It really does. And our mission today for you is to meticulously unpack the content of the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. We're working with a 1934 Polish translation, which itself references earlier English from 1920 and Russian from 1905. And crucially, we're focusing only on what this document claims. We're not here to validate it or refute it. Our goal is simply to understand its asserted narrative, its proposed strategies, its vision, all presented impartially.
Okay, let's unpack this then. So this document, it's presented as maybe a collection of lectures or perhaps a secret report from around 1901. And it lays out this incredibly detailed multi-century plan for what it calls global domination. Its own translators frame it as an ominous prophecy, claiming it reveals some secret power, aiming to systematically dismantle existing structures and, well, achieve world rule. It's quite an audacious claim right from the start.
Oh, absolutely. And what's fascinating here is how the document constructs its own alleged history, its own sort of prophetic nature. It gives itself an origin story, basically. The English introduction, for instance, it claims the text details a plan of world conspiracy designed to bring the world to complete decomposition. And it attributes this plan, supposedly, to original documents stolen by a woman from one of the most influential and high-ranking French Freemasons. So right away, it frames itself not as a theory, but as, a revealed hidden truth. It tries to bolster its own authenticity.
Yeah, giving itself that air of stolen secrets. And beyond just this alleged origin, it uses really powerful symbolism, doesn't it? To kind of amplify the message.
Exactly. Central to this whole grand narrative is the image of the serpent. The document claims this serpent representing, it says, a covert plan by Jewish scholars going way back to 929 BC to King Solomon is gradually encircling Europe and eventually the entire world, with its head destined ultimately to return to Zion. It's a very vivid, almost mythological image meant to convey this creeping, unstoppable force.
It really is. And the text doesn't just, mention this symbol. It actually maps out its supposed historical journey with remarkable specificity.
It does. It marks its alleged influence at particular points in history and geography. Greece, 429 BC, Rome, around 69 BC, Madrid, 1552, Paris, around 1700, London from 1814, Berlin, 1871, St. Petersburg, 1881, and then it projects the serpent's next moves towards Moscow, Kiev, Odessa, then Constantinople, and finally Jerusalem.
So it's not just a timeline.
No, it's more than that. It's a powerful rhetorical device, really. By connecting this alleged conspiracy to specific historical moments and sort of projecting its future path, the document tries to create this illusion of ancient, unwavering power. Inevitability, almost.
Making the narrative seem both grand and unstoppable.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at some kind of predictive map of history.
Precisely.
Now, this document's entire foundation, it seems to rest on a very specific and frankly pretty stark view of humanity, particularly those it calls goyim. And just for clarity, the document defines this term simply as non-Jews in general.
That's right. It asserts that, quote, people with perverted concepts are more numerous than people with noble concepts, essentially claiming that mankind is inherently driven by a desire for power, often willing to sacrifice others for personal gain. It's an incredibly cynical starting point.
It really is.
And from this cynical worldview, you get their guiding philosophy. According to the protocols, law is where force is. Power, not justice or morality, dictates order. That's the idea. It argues that political freedom isn't real. It's just a concept, a bait, they call it, deliberately used to attract the mob and usurp power. And the text states quite explicitly that politics has nothing to do with morality. It suggests cunning and hypocrisy are actually virtues for a ruler. Sincerity, honesty, those are weaknesses.
So it provides a kind of justification for almost any manipulative tactic they then outline.
Exactly. It's foundational.
It's an incredibly damning assessment of humanity, isn't it? The document goes on to paint the Goyim as, well, essentially blind and barbarians, easily manipulated by shallow passions, habits, sentimental theories. And this portrayal is crucial because it sets the stage for their alleged methods of control. The text claims popular slogans like freedom, equality, and brotherhood were deliberately spread.
Spread to undermine, yeah.
To undermine Christian prosperity, destroy peace, balance, unity. And it asserts this ultimately led to the downfall of the Gentile aristocracy.
Which the document calls the only effective defense against their plan.
Right. So, with such a cynical and manipulative view of humanity, how does the document translate this into, well, concrete strategies? Let's turn to the mechanics of their alleged plan. Maybe start with the economy.
Okay, yeah. The protocols meticulously outline strategies across several domains. Economically, they assert the, quote, despotism of capital as the dominant force, with wealth increasingly concentrated in their hands. A key claim is that they orchestrate universal economic crises. How? By strategically withdrawing currency, paralyzing markets,
And promoting luxury.
and promoting unlimited luxury, yes, to impoverish the working classes and further destabilize society. That's the assertion.
It's not just about creating crises, though, is it? It seems aimed at ensuring absolute financial subjugation.
Well, that's certainly how it's presented. The text details how external loans are intended to act like leeches, progressively indebting goyim states to their bankers. And the endgame, described once they're supposedly in power, is a system of progressive property taxes and a complete overhaul of currency.
Replacing gold.
Replacing gold, yes, with state-controlled paper or even wood currency tied directly to national productivity. This, the document suggests, would give them complete and total control over global finances.
Wow. Okay, so that's the economy. What about the political sphere?
Politically, the protocols advocate for systematically undermining existing governments. This is supposedly achieved through the strategic use of liberalism. Now, the document twists this term to represent a force for chaos and fragmentation, not individual freedom.
Yeah.
It aims, it says, to turn parliaments into mere meeting and discussions, kind of neutering legislative power, and using insolent journalists to relentlessly attack authorities.
In replacing monarchs.
Replacing monarchs, it claims, with caricature presidents. Mere puppets chosen from the mob, controlled through scandal or fear. Just compliant figureheads, essentially.
And the scale of this political manipulation, it's presented as truly global.
Absolutely. The document claims they actively foment revolts, discords, and mutual hostile relations across continents, creating such widespread chaos and instability that nations eventually become desperate. They will, according to the protocols, beg for a single king of Zion to step in and restore order.
A chilling vision.
It is. This future superstate is described as a monster with unshakable power, suggesting their rule would be seen as the only solution to the very problems they allegedly created. It's a vision of manufactured consent.
Beyond economics and politics, controlling information and education is also key, isn't it?
Paramount, according to the text. The press, for instance, is called a huge power that must be seized and used for propaganda. This even includes creating controlled opposition newspapers, not for real dissent, but to confuse the goyim, manage public opinion.
And education.
Education, too, is targeted. It's to be stupefied and distorted, the text says, subjects encouraging independent thought removed, and fundamentally false principles and theories instilled in younger generations.
It really sounds like a blueprint for, well, mind control.
It's certainly presented that way.
Yeah.
It even details a plan to undermine existing religions, promoting atheism initially, then eventually establishing the Mosaic faith, with the King of Israel becoming, as the document puts it, the true pope of the world.
Wow. And the legal system isn't spared either.
No. Lawyers' roles would be severely limited, state-appointed, paid fixed fees explicitly to remove self-interest from the justice system, ostensibly to prevent independent challenges to their authority.
It's about total societal overhaul, it seems. Every pillar targeted.
Yes, and the ultimate vision presented is one of absolute despotism, under a divinely chosen king of Israel, ruling with righteous and ruthless severity. Under this rule, all liberal ideas which they claim to have used as tools will be completely eradicated. The text paints a picture of a world where individual liberties just don't exist, replaced by an iron fist.
And it specifies the nature of justice under this king.
It does. Judges appointed based on willingness to punish without mercy, short tenures to prevent conspiracies among them, and the king's own protection, purely secret, enhancing his mystical aura, ensuring no one dares plot against him. It's all designed to create the sense of omnipotent, unchallengeable authority.
And political criminals, how are they dealt with?
Ah, yes. Political criminals defined basically as anyone engaging in politics who isn't supposed to be. They're equated with common criminals, stripped of any heroic status. It's a measure clearly intended to suppress all opposition.
And the text claims the goyim were deliberately led to see political criminals as martyrs,
Exactly, implying a calculated effort to delegitimize dissent long before their absolute rule is established.
Crucially, the protocols also talk about how this vast, centuries-long plan maintains its secrecy.
Yes, significant attention is paid to that. Freemasonic lodges, for instance, are portrayed as sophisticated fronts for secret activities gathering info, spreading propaganda.
Now, for context, Freemasonry is a real fraternal organization with a long history, often misunderstood, involved in charity, private rituals.
Right. But the document depicts even Goyim Masons as unknowingly serving the conspirators' ends, and those who find out too much, eliminated through natural death or exile. It's a truly ruthless claim within the text.
It's a terrifying assertion of control.
Yeah.
And to enforce all this,
A system of secret police, comparable, the text says, to the Russian Okhrana.
the Tsarist secret police, known for surveillance, infiltration.
Exactly, the notorious political police force. The protocol suggests using such a force to provoke dissent, justifying more control, and ensuring absolute obedience. And this police force relies heavily on widespread informants. Reporting disloyalty becomes an honorable duty.
The document then ties all these threads together, doesn't it? It concludes by saying all these steps lead to simultaneous coups everywhere.
Yes, once Goyim governments are seen as utterly incapable of ruling. That's the trigger point described. It even alludes rather chillingly to underground passages in capitals that could be used to blow up cities.
Which sounds terrifyingly literal, but maybe it's meant more metaphorically.
Perhaps a final devastating show of force, maybe, to cement that unshakable power. Either way, it's a frightening image to end on.
Well, we've certainly taken quite a journey into the unsettling claims of the protocols of the Elders of Zion today. We've looked at its audacious claims, the alleged ancient origins, that serpent symbol, the chilling philosophy of control, and those incredibly detailed strategies for domination, economic, political, social.
Indeed. We've explored how this document asserts that the Goyim are systematically manipulated through a twisted version of liberalism, false promises of freedom, while being controlled through engineered economic crises, media manipulation, a stupefied education system, all leading, it claims, to the absolute rule of a king of Israel. It really is presented as a comprehensive blueprint for achieving global power.
As you, listening, reflect on these asserted strategies, the sheer, almost overwhelming scope of the plan described, it really makes you think about the enduring power of narratives. Whether they're factual or entirely fictional, narratives like this can shape perceptions, influence actions, provoke profound fear, or even hope in societies. This document, despite its spurious nature, undeniably did impact history.
Absolutely. And this deep dive reveals not just the specific content of this historically impactful text, but it also raises, I think, an important question for you, our listener. In this age of information overload, where we're constantly bombarded with competing claims, how do we discern between genuine insight and, well, manipulative narratives, especially those claiming to offer the ultimate master plan for the world?
What tools do you use to filter for truth? Something to consider.
The new order is here. Every word, every step, every thought, watched, scanned, controlled.